As you can see here, we're just starting our setup. The list was Ossrum, Thexus. It was possibly not the best for all choices, but I thought with the amount of armor that was there, maybe I could maybe I could dude swarm my lovely opponent. Maybe I could dude swarm instead of try to take out the armor. Try and play for scenario. Unfortunately, scenario is quite live for this one, so those early points are quite important. So yeah, he chose to deploy second and go second. Primarily, I assumed to see if he could score first and get the heads up. Especially in a game like this, all of my games this weekend went to the 7th round with Thexus, and that's something that's very new in the meta that we'll see. And in terms of deployment choices, I deployed basically around the terrain, with overlords wanting to go through the terrain. Lack of Pathfinder is a really big issue with Thexus. Here we have my opponent setting up the double battle engine in the center for a very strong position, very good for the attrition. We have both mortars going on either side with the unit of high shields interspersed around the gun bunnies over on his left. Again, looks like a very strong setup. So start off by allocating, not very much. I don't expect the monstrosities to get in there and deal with those battle engines until late on in the game. I just try to run up as far as I can, just making sure that all of those movements were not too far. Got the Risen coming up, again, providing a little bit of a screen. Alexia to try and get as many of those blue guys under her command as possible. The blue guy I moved last was the Dominator that goes with the unit. Again, very simple. When you're playing this list, it's a case of clicks harder and move stuff up as fast as possible. See if you can grab some of the terrain. With the Pathfinder objective, I thought it might be somewhat sensible. I also, a big thing was the ranged assassination threat with Ossrum, so that deceleration goes down and making sure that I'm within 3 inches for sack pawn of both of my monstrosities. So, Ossrum player advances up, runs with as much as possible. tries to drift a couple of shots, hits, takes out that guy. I think this turn I got very rough, did very well with tough rolls. Deceleration, however, making the dredges armor 17 makes them very, very resilient to blast damage, even the power 7 blast damage. I think that was no, that wasn't the fire for affected mortar. The other one was, but yes. The two siege crawlers, very strong models, armor 20, 40 boxes. Again, fantastic scenario pieces. I forgot they could score the square boxes on scenario. Again, bunnies running up with the inability to push them. Thexus's feat is quite muted. It's not that great into that. Means the scenario play is going to be much harder. Mortar comes up again, tries to drift some shots. I don't know if he actually rolled it in the end. But yeah, and passes the turn over. So here it comes. Just measuring out my control area, seeing if it's maybe likely to get a monstrosity in there. I don't think it was in the end this time. I'm just going to see if I can do the Pathfinder on the beast, the monstrosity, and see if I can get it in there. But no. In the end, it looks like no allocation. It's a quite conservative turn. I just see if I can get some more stuff in. Oh yeah, here comes some ambushing dredges. I was going to see if I can catch some of those guard unaware. Here is where I think I make a mistake. So off we go with turn 2, top 2. Spend a little bit of my clock looking at what's happening, decide just screw it, go run everything ahead straight away. Again, not the greatest of play. I need to learn to play much cleaner when there's pressure on clock and pressure on moving lots of models. That's something that I've taken away very much from this year, is that the play needs to be an awful lot cleaner if I'm going to play at a competitive level. Overlords come up, hoping to flank and spray some of those guys down. Whether or not that's a sensible plan, probably not at the time. Alexia in the Risen again, hoping to take some corpses in and jam out the scenario. Again, conservative advance with both of the monstrosities, and Thexus coming up, casting deceleration, just making sure the placement's sensible. And yeah, again, clean play is so important at this level. I was making so many mistakes there, and I feel really bad for that. I did apologise after the game to my opponent, but well, what can you do? At that point, it didn't affect the game, and it went back to the sensible place, and I caught myself doing it. Here we go, get some dredges advancing. Gonna see if I can contest that zone at the side there. I'm gonna really make a big focus for the left-hand side of the table. Unfortunately, I couldn't quite reach the mortar. Take off a couple of Hammerfall dredges. Thinking for a while. Cool. Get some runs. Again, just jam out the scenario, hope that he can't really score more than 1 point this turn. Here we're just looking at some stats. I think the turn passed over at this point. I can't see the clock. So yeah, I think there's some thought about what's going into this turn over there. So I think this is his feat turn. Still measuring out the thought as to whether or not this is the assassination. The sack pawn on Thexus is fantastic. Really protects against the ranged assassination when combined with deceleration. So here we go. Everything's in. Ossrum comes up, hand cannons off a drudge, or tries to. Get a siege crawler going. Advances. It's in. Toughs. I think this turn I tough absolutely everything. I mean, you've got a. Looking for some good sprays with Spray Bunny. Again, it's absolutely fantastic little model. My off list is Ossrum. Unfortunately, this year I didn't get any Spray Bunnies into it, but, well, what can you do? Okay, so again, I think there were a lot of toughs there. He was very much trying to look to get something into contest my zone on the first scoring turn. Focuses after some of my drudges over there on that flank. Get a tough, unfortunately, but I think he had trouble cracking some of the armor. He ran his unit member far back, and the unit leader was the one that charged. Again, I toughed the charge attack. There we go. He removes stealth on one of my overlords over on the other flank. Does some shooting in the centre there to try and clear out the way for some of the drudges. There we go. That's what he needed to do so that he could get one of his bunnies in to contest the scenario. Or at least I think it was that time anyway. But yeah. Cool. So again, making small attack rolls. Basically, a lot of this game was killing drudges. Or see how many drudges you could kill. And quite effectively, he managed to chew through a rather large amount of them. There we go, and we're removing some of the overlords on this side. And I think he left one of them alive, and then just about 14 to 5 shot him. Even with defense 18, they're quite difficult to save. I think that's 5. Yeah. Okay, here it's again bunnies advancing further into the zone. He agreed that he could see within the stealth there. The fleet turn those high shields become speed 7. So that was a shield wall advance. First up 2-man CRA. That was a hit and it killed. I think this is the turn where he really just goes to down on those drudges. Yeah, some very good rolls. Well, on average rolls, it should hit anyway, and average damage should kill them at power 12. Okay, got some more sprays going off. Yep. We have lots of hits, lots of kills, tough rolls. So here we go, the Ogrun Bokur has a run, just to jam out the scenario, which is what he needed. At which point he passes the turn over and scores 1. So I was thinking this time it's 1 point up. This is going to be a grindy game, or at least I hope it's going to be a grindy game. No allocation. I was going to see if I could get that siege crawler. He goes up and instigates. The overlords come up, and nope, we spray off my own guy and spray off that hammer dwarf. Just seeing if I can clear the way. So here we go, we've got a couple more sprays coming out. Trying to kill off some of those mortar crew. I don't think I managed to make it in the end. And that becomes quite crucial because you've got 2d3 coming back a turn from both of those siege crawlers. Yeah, wasn't the best result you could hope for. Next, I'm trying to think, how do I deal with that Ogrun Bokur? So we get some, get the remaining unit of that drudges in. They just make some attacks. Unfortunately, don't quite manage to kill it. Just checking command range there. So here we go. I've got a clear line of sight for that wrecker. Just checking whether or not there's a free strike. He was happy that if I charged on a different angle, that would be fine. The objective, of course, being Pathfinder. So, first attack hits, does a bit of damage, second attack hits, does more damage. Unfortunately, cracking through armor 23 at dice -4 with 40 boxes is somewhat difficult. Unfortunately, even though he charged for free, he was unable to kill it. Thought in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's see if we can get these this little green unit going into it. Unfortunately, only one could. Just decided to run the rest of them into the zone. Didn't really do any serious damage to it. That. And now I was starting to think, what could I really do? Need to make sure I was on 3. Got the deceleration up again. Tried to jam out those gun bunnies, especially with the bulldoze. That becomes quite difficult, but again, being in melee with the gun bunny didn't do any damage at armor 21. I got the blue unit going. Got some of these guys just running into the zone again, just to contest. I did not want him to score. I needed to get ahead on points, but it was looking more and more unlikely as game time. I got Alexia and the Risen going up. Tried to raise a Thrall Warrior in the back arc of that guy. He hit, but unfortunately, and he killed, but unfortunately he tuffed. The Ogrun Bokur tuffed. So it ended up me not being able to score on that because I ran out of anything to deal with that Ogrun Bokur. passed over the turn and scored 1. He scored 1. Check the kill box. I had a hair's breadth out of the kill box. Ossrum goes. All the focus to everything. First up, the battle engine returned, as I talked about earlier. Lots there. Hammerforge, Forge Guardian, Hammerdorfs, and a life for that mortar. Mortars are very strong pieces. Plays conservatively, doesn't want to lose that mortar, which is a sensible plan. Hits and kills a wolf. And that's the point at which the game turns. Removes the stealth from one of my overlords. Rolls to hit, double sixes it, and doesn't quite crank the damage roll. Deceleration is a very good spell. Just causes damage to those 3. I think that's the other side cannon. Scatters again. Doing no damage with deceleration. Killing one of them at least. Cool. This is the D3 shots. Okay. Ogrun Bokur stands up, hits one of my dredges, double sixes, kills. That's where I start remembering to collect corpse tokens with Alexia. We've got some more shooting here. Kills off the unit leader. Pro tip, if you ever play against Cephalyx, you need to kill the unit leaders. Boosted 12s always do the jobs. When you've got that many of them, it's absolutely fantastic. It's a very strong list to play into. Cool, we've still got some more killing of dredges. There's a lot of this game. As you'll eventually start seeing, the pile of dead dredges does start to creep onto the battlefield somewhat. Cool. I think this is the Hammerfall dwarfs that shoot twice in one turn. Very, very, very good for sandblasting. Okay. We have a Spray Bunny, which hits exactly where it needs to, and kills off. I think this is the turn I lose the Dominator, but yeah. So more toughing dredges. It is utterly miserable to play into. There's 70 tough models on the table. Okay, now we get a little bit of shooting. That's my monstrosity. Of course, for every point of damage, every time you damage it, it gets an additional focus. And then it decides to shoot at everything else. Shoots off one of the overlords, down to 1 box left on it. And I think this is where he decides to kill it. I think. Can't see the demo. Yes. Confusion over widgets. And you've got so many of them. Yeah, got some blast damage coming up, killing off some more dredges and risen. Just a bit of indecision about placement. Here comes the spray bunny. Let's cast bulldoze. Yeah. Kills off the final remaining drudge of the blue unit. Bulldozes the red unit out, which was what I saw coming. Shoots and kills. There we go. And shoots. Frees up the Ogrun Bokur a little bit more. Kills off the Thrall Warrior. Okay, I've got a bunch of corpses left for Alexia. And he passes the turn over. Here I'm thinking about what to do. Assign a couple more focus out to the Wrecker. Shove down on my risen, see if I can jam out that zone a bit. I think the score here has gone back to 2-1 to my opponent's favour. Now this is starting to look very, very, very bad for me. It can only get worse, but we see if we can kill off and score a couple more points here. So, make some melee attacks against the Bokur, who fails his death roll, finally. So that's the green unit done. I think I've planned to see if I can finish off that one remaining siege crawler. Sorry, the one of the siege crawlers and put some decent damage onto the other. It's I put off an adrenal rush on one of my dredges to get him over the wall. From the Dominator, I get 2 within 2 inches there, advanced within 2 inches to attack both of the siege crawlers. However, I think I must take a free strike to do that from the siege crawler. Thankfully, it doesn't take out anything important. Here, I think I miss one of my initials on one of the siege crawlers, which really, really killed the plan. Killed off one of them, had a couple of remaining attacks to do on the other. At this point, it allowed me to run some of my Dominators in to finally try and contest and slow down the speed of scoring. Again, they were going to be wiped out, but not much I could do. That was just an advance for those guys. So I make some melee attacks again, see if I can kill this, or at least put some more damage on it. As you can see, it's only really scratched. I think I cranked the damage roll on one of them, but so every little helps. I get some risen trying to engage some of those bunnies. Here we go. Alexia is going in to try and kill something. Do a little bit of work. Make some CMAs against some of those bunnies with the risen, which is great. Don't really do a lot. But it's always worth trying to roll the dice. And here, Alexia is rolling against that bunny to try and kill it. Thexus wants to come out a little bit further, put D-cell up again, and pass the clock over. Here, I think the Ossrum player is in a very much advantageous position. I'm running out of a lot of stuff. And he's easily going to clear this zone this turn. Yep, here come the Hammer Dwarfs. Yep, as expected. Wipes the zone out. Yep. Here he's looking at the possibility of getting both Alexia and the Dominator. Tucks into Alexia, I think, miss. And the Dominator, and kills the Dominator right out. At which point, this is looking very, very bad, because everything now just has to run. Okay. Get some unfortunate scatters again. I think he managed to do damage to himself with his own mortar. Not quite sure how. I would. There, it was, I think, something happened, but we did measure the 2-inch earlier on in the game, the previous turn, which was how I got attacks out on it. So that was just a case of moving it back in. Cool, we've got some more bulldozing. Bunnies happening. Here is where he wants to assassinate Alexia. Moving around, shooting things. Yep. So now we've got the Hammerfall. The high shields coming into the zone, wanting to score this turn. We've got some shots out onto some more Risen. Yep. And because, of course, the Dominator's died, the Tough is gone. Yep, we've got the mini feat firing twice. Yep, and quite handily wiping out the Risen. Ready to score in that zone for his turn. We now have an extra movement. I think that's again from maybe fire and displace. And we get Alexia being killed. I decide to leave the grunts down because not worth it. Not worth taking him up. More models on the table at this point is always better. Have stuff that can contest. Now I have the feeling that, so I score 1 in my zone, he scores 1 in his zone, and scores are still even. This is a last ditch attempt to see if I can stay ahead. So here I'm measuring out a charge for my Wrecker to see if he can go clear out that zone a little bit. There's honestly, the game's pretty much over at this point. We're even on score, and there's, oh yes, I feat, and You can do some telekinesis. Okay. And here Thexus decides to charge the siege crawler. There's a little bit of argument over the placement, but either way it doesn't matter. There's not much left to be done of this game. It won't really matter. I just wanted to get the points to see if I could salvage some strength of schedule. At this point, I knew I was giving the assassination away. I think I had less than 10 minutes left on my clock by this point, and things were not looking great, and I didn't kill the siege engine by that point, so not much to really do. Got some charges off there. Didn't really do much. Got an instigate off there. And had a charge where the proxy base is. So that was a thresher attack against a fair amount of those guys. I did the beat back. He can't be pushed, but I can advance in, which got me to within 2 inches of all of the gun bunnies. I think I leave each of them on about a box each, but it unfortunately wasn't enough. There's still an awful lot of everything on the table left. So you can see, replace that. On the other side of the table, I think that was an accidental nudge. We've got spray there. See if I can kill that lot, but I wasn't able to. Got the green unit going. Got some attacks against the siege crawler. First one. And don't kill it in the end. Yeah. At which point, pass over the clock, fairly certain that there's going to be an assassination here. Spends a little time thinking about it. Does 2 mortars and his caster. I'm sitting on no focus out in the middle of nowhere. It was literally a last-ditch gamble for the CPs. By this point, the game was so tiring, I couldn't quite keep up. Takes off half my health with a big chunk from the mortar. The mortar then repositions 3 away. Ossrum moves through the objective to try and get to there, within range for a hand cannon shot. Brings it and finishes the game with Ossrum. It's always good when there's a caster kill versus caster kill. That was a very well fought game. I think I definitely dropped the wrong list into it. Should have dropped Ossrum. I think my opponent played absolutely perfectly, and it was a very well played game.
So thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. If you would like to see more of the battles, subscribe to YouTube channel or like me on